approach the lake where you've previously gone to settle down and relax.
Alright, Dave, I appreciate you coming out here. I'm sorry, there's not really been a good time to talk about this, but... Before I start telling you any of this, David, I need you to promise me that you will let me explain everything before you interrupt me.
I won't know if I'm going to interrupt you. However, I will allow you to explain everything.
Okay, and David, this is for you and only you, because...
Hello, Currents. Okay.
Alright. Out of respect for your time, David, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Devlin has all the items he needs. He told us that he needs another 4, but that isn't the case. Do you remember the other morning when we were talking about the quest system with Moira, and we were saying that she shouldn't have it? It's because it comes from the Tome of Potential. That's the name of the book that Devlin used to do the contract. The magic in that surpasses his, by the way.
Wait, time out.
Okay.
Time out. That's just throwing a lot out of here. First, the magic that Devlin used to bind us is not his.
He's adapted a couple of spells from it. The translation power from the shark comes from there too.
Okay. So he has no control over the
It wouldn't seem so, no.
specifics of the spell. Okay.
He specifically said that it was beyond him.
What do you mean when you said we have all the items? Like we just recently got them?
That was the other thing. Devlin has some degree of control over the quest system.
He does.
Because he revealed one to me. We've had it since the beginning, I suspect, but it was hidden. It's hidden still for you, but it's revealed for me. But the pertinent point, items needed, 8 out of 8. Okay, David, please.
Wait, so if I understand this correctly, we had the items we needed before we got to this world, right?
There's a reason why he hasn't done it, if you'd allow me to explain it next.
I'm assuming because he wants to bury, what's her name, Julie's share first.
It's not just that, David. If he tried to do the ritual here, it would damage the world. Not that it would just do damage to this town. If it's to do damage to the planet, it must be pretty bloody cataclysmic. I mean, obviously, he would want to avoid that.
But why didn't he then do it in London's world? Because that world's already fucked.
I don't know.
He spent so much time in this world.
I know, David.
If I could kill him, I would.
Things would have been so much simpler here if he'd simply told us a little bit more information. Because, well, I learned from him more about Julie's parents. That they were healers. I then suggested to John to talk to Andrea. Because he might know him.
And we learned from Andre, I'm going to kill him.
David, listen to me.
If he has been just a tiny bit more honest, we could have left this world like the second day, maybe even the same day.
You are correct, David, but what happened has happened, and if I'm being brutally honest with you, I don't regret meeting Moira. I completely understand your position, David, but that was...
Yeah. Okay, yeah, sure, I agree, okay, yeah. However,
you are right. You are right.
Could have left, if we known all about this, we could have left the day after we knew Moira was okay.
Because we met Andrea that day. But there is one thing wrong with that, David. Because this is the reason why I didn't opt to tell you this as soon as I found out. Because the day that I learned this was the same night the Wyverns attacked Dutch's Blaine. And I think, David, it would be more than fair to suggest that if I told you then, you would have marched straight back to the shop and you would have demanded Devlin take us away. And the thing is...
No, after the Wyvern attack, I'm not that heartless.
But we didn't know that because we were speaking in hypotheticals back then. All we knew is that they might come, and as I recall, David, you weren't convinced that it was going to happen. So I don't...
Yeah, that is true.
It's the same sort of conversation we've had about the Broodmother. Now, I don't think that's as pressing given what the town guard told us, but if you'd gone back then... Exactly, and if... Sorry, let me get my train of thought back here. If Devlin had left... those Wyverns would have destroyed the town. Because if you noticed, the moment that we stepped out onto the street, they stopped attacking Dutch's Blaine and focused only on us. They probably would have torn everything down trying to find us, and if we were gone, everyone would be dead. I'm almost certain of it. David, there's more.
There's more? What are you going to tell me? That he also has the ability to choose where to go?
No, it isn't that. Devlin has made 27 other attempts prior to this one. He isn't optimistic that this one is going to work either.
He has told us that he has been
Trying before.
alive for millennia or something like that. So
Millennia and traveling the multiverse for 400 odd years. I can't remember the exact time frame.
yeah,
But the point being is, David, he is pretty sure that this isn't going to work. At the time, I asked him if there's anything that we could do. If he changes the ritual every single time he tries. He does, and he told us that as we are right now, we're not enough.
what do you mean we're not enough?
We're not powerful enough. He also mentioned something called the mortal limit. Apparently there's a cap for how powerful mortals can become with magic.
But what does our strength matter to his rituals?
You didn't say exactly. I mean, maybe that he just wants to try and brute force. I mean, that seems like what this ritual was designed to do. Because he... Sorry, go ahead, David.
But if that is the case, then the stupid fucker that he is, then he should take more care of his employees.
Do you not think I
Because
know
he
that,
killed
David?
Tarek, basically, let him die. Then again, Tarek also was unwilling, which I can understand given his employee.
Is that not basically the argument that I had with Devlin at the very beginning?
Yeah.
So I know all too well, David. I haven't forgotten. Devlin always requires 8 items to attempt the ritual.
Always? So you're telling me
8.
that if this
8 more
this
worlds,
ritual
David.
fails, which he believes is very likely, we're gonna need to take 8 more worlds. And if we
Yes.
take, like, I don't know, a week for every world, that will be 8 more weeks minimum.
Yes.
I'm gonna need to have a talk with him.
David, please.
We're gonna
David,
need to have a talk with him.
We are, but please, let me finish. Devlin, when he told me this, didn't make me promise explicitly not to tell anyone else, but he did ask me to keep it to myself. Now, my relationship with him especially is strained, but David, my word is still my word. And by telling you this, I'm walking the line between breaking one of my core values, because I can't let my friend, and yes, David, I consider you a friend and a damn good one, walk any further down this path not knowing what's going to come next, because I didn't want Devlin to tell you that he was going to be able to try and untether himself from the shop only for it to fail. You deserve to know what's going on in front of you, and if I'm honest, David, I wasn't sure if keeping this from you was more cruel than telling you. But I had to make a choice, and I decided that I couldn't call myself your friend if I didn't let you know this. I hope you appreciate that.
I appreciate your honesty. That I do.
But there was always something.
8 fucking more worlds.
There's always been something since that day, because first it was knowledge. The wyverns, and then the next day, the thing with Beartooth, Alondra. There's just not been a good moment, because we've always been in Dutch's Blaine or we've been in the shop. I needed to take this opportunity to tell you now, because we so rarely have an interaction where we're alone together. I mean, I could have told you last night in the bar, and if I'm honest, David, I almost did, but I didn't know if I was overstepping by even bringing up your wife, because how is she really, David? I know that you were underselling it.
Terrible. That's how she is. Obviously heartbroken. No life in her eyes left.
David.
I need to get home.
David, I know you must be furious doesn't begin to describe it, because believe it or not, David, at least to an extent, I know how you feel, at least a little bit, because every delay I had when I was looking for Moira the other day, whether it was trying to get an intelligible answer out of Cletus, searching those fucking records for anything of even remote value, hell, even taking the 2 hours to work on the greenhouse before we went out to look for the wyvern, every single moment was torture. And you've been going through this for 3 weeks, so I can't imagine how you've held up so well, if I'm being brutally honest. But, David, I am begging you, please do not immediately confront Devlin with this. Because whatever Devlin else might be, he is knowledgeable. And the sad truth is, despite the fact that he's the one who's put me in this position, I also need his help. I'm against, what? At least one archdevil, if not two. Denivol's already told me that there is very little chance that I'll be able to find someone in the multiverse who can help me. He's probably my best chance, and he's going to make, at least for me, a better ally than enemy. But there might be another way to think about this goal, David. Getting home, I mean, because...
What do you mean?
Well, does it actually matter so much if you get home, as long as you're reunited with your wife? Because given magic, David, those might not necessarily be the same things.
I mean, it is the same. Home is not a place, it's a person.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you're talking about getting back to Earth, but you've been able to reach out to her and see her condition with astral projection. I mean, what's stopping you from being able to do more of that right now?
I mean, I'm not even strong enough to interact with anything.
So it's strength, again.
I was able to make static on a TV, that's the most I can do.
David, you have a god in your corner. He seems to have been able to help you quite a lot. I mean, you might not be able to do everything at once, but the very fact that you've been able to reach your wife at all, that's probably still more than almost anybody Devlin has ever kidnapped has been able to accomplish, for all we know.
I totally agree. However,
I know
that's all because of Denivel.
It is because of Denivel, yes, but the point is you have Denivel, David. You have somebody who can facilitate these things for you. He gave you a spell pattern. He's made you aware of sending. Like, in terms of a signpost, he has given you so much knowledge, and that is only going to become more valuable to you as time goes on. But
I agree.
But
Denivel has been a great partner in my corner.
But what I'm thinking...
Leave it.
But what I'm thinking, David, is if you go back right now and you start having a slanging match with Devlin, what will it accomplish? I am not saying that you don't have a right to, but I am thinking now from a purely pragmatic standpoint. What would it actually do?
Well, two things. One, it would have the discussion about his lack of facilitating knowledge that we need, because we could have wrapped this war up way quicker. Secondly, I could also have the discussion about him bringing me home to Earth temporarily.
But the thing is, David, those are two conversations I agree you should have, but I'm thinking of what would happen if you had those conversations right now while you're in this state. You wouldn't be choosing your words carefully, because I didn't. You'd be angry, and even the most rational man, when pushed to their limits, can do stupid things. I mean, for fuck's sake, David, I almost ran for 6 hours trying to fight a wyvern when I thought I had a chance to save Moira.
I hate that you're right.
This anger, this rage you're feeling right now, I am not telling you to let it go. One of the other reasons I told you this now is because Devlin will have to disclose that eventually. When the ritual fails, there's going to be a very natural follow-up question. Why didn't it work? You can have that conversation, David. I'm just saying, don't have it today. Take a step back, think about it. Because what you're going to need in order to convince Devlin to take you to Earth isn't anger or emotion. It is a logical argument that gives some sort of benefit to him. I mean, how? You managed to convince him to come here just because we wouldn't be bickering about the room anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He also made that same
yes,
promise.
Exactly.
Really, so.
You're going to need to think of an argument, David, and probably a pretty good one. But I also don't think that that's the first time that Devlin went to Earth. He seemed to imply that he's visited more than once. For what purpose, I don't know. I mean, I mentioned that Earth has magic, although apparently in order to cast magic there requires pretty extensive rituals. Just on a complete tangent, Devlin was actually running from something when he kidnapped us, by the way. He didn't just do from whoever killed Tarek. They posed enough of a threat that Devlin felt like he needed to move quickly, so...
He could have left us there when he escaped, but okay.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on what was coming, and we were already in the shop by then. I don't know, David. I mean, I only know what Devlin told me. And, well, as I said, he told me quite a lot. The reason he told me, by the way, I suspect, David, is because I was pretty candid with him. Just before he told me, I actually admitted something which I haven't said to anyone. If Devlin didn't kidnap me, I probably would have spent the rest of my life waiting to die. If I'm being brutally honest, I'd lost the last thing that mattered to me, and I felt like a complete failure. I mean, maybe I would have put my life back together in time, but I have to concede, David, that for as much as I resent Devlin, he has given me a second chance at life. A chaotic, unpredictable, and sometimes very shit life.
And dangerous.
But if not for him, I wouldn't have met the love of mine. I can't ignore that. As much as I want to, he did facilitate that. Do not misunderstand me, David. That isn't the same as me saying that I approve of anything that he has done, and that wasn't his intention, and that wasn't something that he did for me. But regardless, it happened because I was put on this journey. So I'd be lying if I say that I regret these events completely, even if I am feeling just constantly on edge, both for my sake and now, frankly, Moira's too. There's another thing that I want to mention too, and David, this is not to be discussed in the shop either. Fortunately, we discussed this when we were out in the forest just after the Terror Dog attack. Do you remember just after the Terror Dog attack and you went to the library and learnt about them that I mentioned I had a dream in which I appeared to be in a figure's body and I went through a portal?
Mm-hmm.
Well, from what we know now, that had to have been one of Beartooth's memories. We know he raided many, many worlds, and I think in that memory I witnessed how he travelled. And I had the presence of mind to make a mental note of what he was doing whilst he was casting the spell in the memory. Because basically, when I was in that state, I was essentially inhabiting their body, feeling what they felt. I can't say that I could learn the spell from that, David. It would be well beyond me at this point, but I think I witnessed enough of it that if I gave you some details, maybe Deneville can tell you what it is. Because if we had a power like that, I mean, maybe it'd be a way for you to escape. Or, if the contract doesn't allow us to do that, bring somebody else here. Your wife. I know it is a very... It's a radical solution, David, but finding a way to bring your wife here might be easier than getting back home. I mean, obviously, if you're going to be able to communicate with her, so you can discuss it.
Not yet, because Gavin didn't have the spell.
But Jun will have it soon. And the thing is, it might actually be better if Jun has it than you, for one simple reason, because if you can get Jun to send the spell, you can astral project at the same time to see if your wife reacts to it. Because there was a debate about whether the spell works. I mean, you would be able to verify whether it actually is going to be the thing that you need. I mean, then depending on the nature of the spell, like maybe you could have Jun ask your wife to leave you letters to facilitate two-way communication that way. I know these solutions aren't ones that you want to hear, David, but I'm trying my best here.
It's all fucked. Everything's fucked. I think, sure, that's a good plan, D, C, whatever one. Preferably, I would have Devlin take us to the Earth, even if it is temporarily, so that I could at least speak with her.
Yes.
Let her know that I'm okay, but that I would have to leave soon again because of that contract.
Okay.
And then I would rather have her choose if she wants to join or if not.
David, everything you're saying.
The thing is, we don't know how long it will take. He has been at it for 400 years, and another 80 is not.
Which is why I
was
beyond
the realm of possibilities.
Possibly, I can't, David. I'd be lying if I gave you any assurances at this point. I think now we understand the reason or why both Julie and Tarek lost it, and probably why Devlin wanted me to keep this to myself, because...
But why doesn't Devlin... Okay, because let's say, because that book is even beyond him.
Yes.
And the book is the one that made the contract.
Yes.
So even Devlin doesn't have doesn't have the capabilities of nullifying it. Let's say that's the case.
Okay.
Let's say that you, me, and June are stuck here with him for the next 120 years. Mm-hmm. The very least he can do is bring us to our realm to at least say goodbye.
And I agree with that, David. I completely agree. There has been no reason for him to be so difficult. I know, but he is who he is. We can't.
Yes, please.
He is, David. But even so, I want to help bring this to an end. Because I think that Devlin specifically deserves my help, but nobody should live in that state for as long as he has. I mean, I know that you've compared him to Denevel before, but Denevel is a god. He was built to live forever. Devlin wasn't. And to be honest, David, if I don't help him, someone else is going to have to. And if it's within my power, I'd rather it not come to that.
I understand your willingness to help her. I'm not disagreeing with that. The only thing I'm disagreeing is with the way how the current dynamics are set up.
I agree, David.
And that's why I think we need to have a talk with
I
him.
think it's shifting. When we completed the greenhouse, he expressed genuine gratitude. And when I talked to him, actually made an effort, I apologized for my behavior when he did something that day which I will never forgive him for. I reconciled with him, but that is not the same thing as letting it go. But from how we started to now, there has definitely been a difference. When I talked to him, David, I did actually see some... he isn't human, or wasn't human, but something resembling a conscience. He expressed true regret for what happened with Julie. She helped him, sure. There was definitely incentive, but if we go in guns blazing now, we will reverse everything. All of the goodwill that we've built up, all of the goodwill that I tried to foster with him. I am not saying, David, that he deserves it, but he isn't going to make the effort. We have to. It's unfair, it's unreasonable, but that's the reality of the situation that we are in, and we have to make the best of it, because if we don't, we are just going to spin our wheels, likely for decades. I don't think I ever actually told you the reason why I was so angry at him, did I? Not completely, at least.
It's not because of the kidnapping? That was not part of it?
No, actually. Because of everything that I've said, I don't want to say forgive completely, but I can empathise with it. Of why he's so desperate, but no, David, as stupid as it sounds, because he destroyed those shoes. Or he got mouse too, when we had that argument.
Yeah, the shoes from your costume?
No, the shoes that I was wearing when I came into the shop. Those shoes were the last thing that my mother ever gave to me. The only thing I physically had left of her. And Devlin had mouse destroy them because he was losing ground in an argument. Because he was caught in a fucking lie. But I had to let it go. Because if I didn't, I'm not going to be able to make any progress. It would just make things more difficult for me, more difficult for you, and frankly, too much has happened for me to stay angry. I'm tired of being angry, David. I am tired of having a conversation like this every other day, of being a bearer of bad news to somebody, to spend what I feel like is my whole life since coming on this journey apologizing for something. I'm tired of fucking up, basically. Well, throughout it all, I am trying to do what I feel is the right thing. And I hope that I've done the right thing by telling you this today. When we go back to the shop, David, it's going to be obvious that you and I have had a pretty involved conversation here. There's a reason I've only told you about this. I don't think it affects Jun anywhere near as much as it affects you. Monte obviously doesn't have a world to go back to. Moira, I think, just wants to travel anyway, based on what she's told you or what she's told me. And Kara, for the most part, feels like she lives in her own world. I think if anyone asks, David, we'll say that we had an argument about the broodmother.
Yeah, I'm okay with saying that. However, here's the thing.
Okay.
Because we will need to have that conversation with Devlin.
We do, David, but I just don't think it should be today.
No,
but I do agree we have it.
That's fine. But here's the thing. If you look at the whole situation pragmatically,
okay,
you're okay with traveling with him because, as you said, we're just waiting to die. And now you have Moira, who also wants to travel the world. So she's doing this willingly.
Yes.
June stated that she loves traveling. This is just another facet of traveling. Instead of countries, it's now realms. So she also doesn't mind this situation.
The only thing... Do you mind if I just make a slight addendum to that? I talked to John yesterday, I finally managed to get them to admit that there was something bugging them for all this time. They're missing their family. I mean, that should be obvious. But it's not. But I mean, it's the being able to not touch base with them. I guess
that is the problem here.
Yes, exactly.
We don't mind helping Devlin. We don't.
We just want to give our family members something, whether it be closure and assurance that we're alive, or the opportunity to join us.
Yes, I have.
My point
with that contract that was horribly stated, and I knew that from the day I read it. I signed my soul away, basically.
As did we all.
So I don't mind doing this for another 80 years, but at least let me have closure. And that's the thing that he's
denying
gatekeeping, denying us. That's the issue that I have with Devlin.
If he kidnapped me 3 months earlier, I'd be almost exactly like you.
Yeah, because you had a mother to go back to who needed your assistance, your help.
Yep. But what I was going to say about Jun is, as you develop your abilities with Deneval, I think Jun might be able to benefit from it too. Because I think they're conflicted about going back to their family. I think they've always had self-esteem issues where they're concerned, but
I didn't know that.
They should let them know that they're okay. And I think your abilities could potentially help them. So I just thought whilst we're having this conversation, I would mention that that's something that they might ask you. But please, continue.
I do think we need to have a talk with Devlin, even if it's not about this situation, because I still want to talk to him about returning to Earth, even if it is for a moment, just so I could have closure.
There is probably something we could offer him in that regard. We have our mobile devices with us. Devlin is always asking us for books from other worlds.
Give him a Kindle.
Well, honestly, yes.
The thing with, and that's the same with Deneval, at some point, because he has millions of books, but he read them all. So right now he's just rereading them because he has nothing else to do. No, this is actually a great point, great comparison, because both of them are stuck in a place that they don't want to be and they want to be free. However, the big difference between those two is Deneval helps me, and because of that I'm willing to help him. Because he can take over my body, and I was planning on making some food, and then he can take over my body and eat the food and enjoy actually taste. And I'm sure with Deneval's help, I can do the same for Devlin.
Well, actually, that is something that I wanted to ask you about, since we're on the subject.
Go ahead.
You mentioned that Deneval was stuck in the library. Has he ever told you why?
He did. However, I'm not great at remembering things, but I do know that it is because of knowledge.
Knowledge sealed? Do you know how or why?
I'm not sure if it was that he sealed knowledge there, or if he's hiding there because he knows he's at least safe from knowledge. Because he did fight knowledge, I think he was sealed. Because he did say that he couldn't leave. But he did fight knowledge. Did I tell you that? That he fought knowledge?
No, you haven't. And I guess it's not been relevant up until now, but please elaborate.
Deneval is a god of war, and when we first met, I didn't believe in gods. So I said, oh yeah, there are so many 300 something gods, I even fought 2, killed 1. And the gods that he fought, the 2, were knowledge and a lesser fire deity from his world, came from originally. And the reason he fought and killed the fire deity is because it summoned knowledge into his world.
Wait, do you think that's why knowledge has an affinity with fire?
Would be. It could also be that he could be summoned into the world because he had an affinity with fire.
I suppose I have a
cause could be a causation.
Yeah, causation. Yeah, I'm aware of that fallacy. No, I just thought it was interesting.
It is. But anyway, so that happened. And last time I also went to Deneval, and it was after the whole thing with the Wyverns and Bella dying.
Wait, how did you bring Bella back, by the way? I noticed that they were back with you. I
don't know how, but I had a tugging sensation and the feeling that I could just not like create them, but more like she was calling out to me to summon her.
I guess a little bit like Splinter with Jun.
Yeah, I think that is similar, and it's both with Bella and Luna.
Sorry, a bit of a digression, but that's been bugging me.
Where were we? Oh yeah, so then after that, I went to Deneval, and then I remember last time you told me that you fought 2 gods, killed 1, and then we talked about who those gods were. And I said, how do you kill a god? And I said, it depends on the god, and depends on depends really on the god and how it is done. Then I ask, how do you kill knowledge? And he does not know.
I mean...
So, that's the situation we're at. Why did I come to this conversation? Oh yeah, all the way because Devlin is useful to me. He's helping me out, that I'm also willing to help him out. That I could even give him just a moment of sense again, that he could taste something else, experience something different. And if Devlin was even just...
I suppose, even going around in the library, I mean, I am not making any defense, I'm just... You bring up a very interesting analogy. So I just want to explore it a bit more. Devlin, as far as I can tell, has just been stuck in place. He can't physically... I mean, he can move as a spirit around the shop, but he can't physically go anywhere. He has just a complete lack of purpose. But I guess that even if Danivel's situation is similar, he does have some form of purpose insofar as he can reach out to people to give them assistance. I mean, maybe that might be the difference. Yeah, but then again,
the people that he reach out to can only visit him. So much like I go to his library, much like I go to Danivel's shop. Even that there are different people coming in and out of your space. The space itself is limited.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing in the slightest, by the way, sort of with how they're in similar situations, but one chooses to use their powers very differently.
One decides to be helpful and gets also things in return for being helpful, and the other's just being a bitch.
But one is also a mortal who probably shouldn't have lived as long as they have, and the other is a god.
Sure.
I mean, if you existed for so long, David, would you not expect to go mad eventually? It's kind of like I was with Moira and how on occasion you've been when your wife, but it's that hyperfixation on a singular goal. You and I will probably go into that state for maybe a moment before someone snaps us back and brings us back to our senses. But I mean, what if being immortal is just like being in that state constantly? It's not a defense, but I can't help but consider it.
I don't know.
When we're dealing with him, we can't think that we're dealing with a completely rational person. Like, his perspective is warped. Frankly, the reason I got so annoyed at him at first is because he was being irrational to the point where he was actively working against his own interests, even if he could bring more people into the shop. It didn't make any sense to discard us before understanding what we could do. And the reason I stormed out of the shop is because everything that he got upset about, or rummaging through the counter, through attacking that door, none of those things, like, we did no damage to the shop. The things we took from the counter could be replaced, but he took something from me, can never be given back, because Mouse took the remains of those shoes, and they're long gone by now. I mean, I know it's a silly thing to be upset about, but
I wouldn't call it silly.
I mean, in the
it has an emotional value, and even Devlin has shown that he can be quite emotional in things as well.
I mean, maybe if I told him now, he would regret it, but
he might even apologize if we're lucky.
And that's the thing, David. We need to keep up that positive momentum, because the very fact that we both consider that to be a possibility is something that we couldn't have said even a week ago.
We might need to... I'm not sure if he would be even willing to talk about it, but we might need to understand his limits and abilities. Because he has said, at least, that he could protect the shop if needed, and kill anyone inside if needed. So he has some defensive and offensive capabilities.
Yes.
But if he's casting spells like the rest of us, then who knows what else of useful things he might know. But if he knows sending...
I mean, again, that's a very good point. And the thing is, we've discussed it in the shop, so why not ask him?
I will.
And the thing is, David, the fact that you have thought of that suggestion now rather than marching back to the shop as soon as I started this conversation shows that you're taking the time to think this through.
I still want to...
You still want to?
I'm going to carve something into the wall.
But David, you see my point, I hope.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's as I've suspected from the beginning. This journey one, it's a marathon, not a sprint. As much as we would like it to be otherwise. If this journey can end soon, then yes, all the better. But I have to keep thinking of the what-ifs, of being as prepared as best as possible for whatever comes our way in case it doesn't. Call it a pessimist's view if you want to, and I don't think I'd disagree with you.
I think it is needed given the situation. I had to talk with June about this. Because right now the only one who really wants to go back is me, I think. right?
Is true.
June also wants to contact her family, but if she has a way of contacting them, I think she will be settled.
David, would you allow me to be blunt for a moment?
Go ahead.
Helping you and Jun get home actively goes against my interests, insofar as if I go home to Earth now, I'm fucked.
Why? Oh, because you're
the dogs,
leaving.
There too.
Well,
And
here's the thing, though. We don't know if that also all comes along.
But
because in our world there was no magic.
But that is wishful thinking, David.
It is. I agree it is.
And wishful thinking isn't enough of an assurance. As much I could lie and say that it is, but it isn't.
Shows that, okay, Earth is a safe place, then you know that you can also return there. But
yes.
If it isn't, then you know.
Yes, exactly. And I'm not saying that I'm against your idea of visiting Earth. I mean, honestly, I think there would also be opportunities for us to upgrade the shop. A lot of modern conveniences. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm incredibly knowledgeable, but I know enough that we could probably get some form of local area network installed, have networked devices, storage, entertainment, knowledge, all sorts. There are a lot of potential benefits, both for us and for Devlin. But what I'm talking about specifically, David, is if the journey was to end now. As in, we just go back to Earth right this very moment. And
things might be difficult for you.
And the thing is,
Mora and June.
And the thing is, David, I want you to bear in mind that this isn't a new thought. I have been thinking about this for a while. I'm choosing to help you anyway. But But I'd be lying if I didn't make it known that it will
you miss me. I mean, that's the point where you're going at. You enjoy having me and the rest of us around, and you're unsure, and I agree with, given the situation, that if we can return home, because let's face it, I will return home, that you will miss me.
I mean...
And I'm glad for that.
I'll miss all of you, but that isn't... I mean, it was simply as I was getting at before, David, I don't really mind where we end up, eventually. If we end up getting back to Earth, it's fine. It's just... If it is that I have to live with this for the rest of my life, so be it. But as it stands right now, I'm in a really bad position and I need to have some form of solution or workaround. I'm ultimately
trying it out first.
Yes, but all I'm saying is ultimately I've learned by now that the journey is simply what it is. As I said to you the other morning, I will cope with whatever comes my way simply because I have to. I don't have a choice but to try. But as I say, it is a concern. I mean, I've been concerned the entire time. I've probably been more concerned than anyone here, simply just because I think I understood sooner than everyone else just the gravity of the situation we were in. And I guess in a odd way it means that I've now somewhat adjusted to it. Whereas it seems that Jun, for example, the gravity of it's only really just starting to set in for them. But there's something I want to just discuss really quickly with you, Dave, before we go back, because I feel that this conversation is when it's natural cause. Now we know what we need to do.
When you discuss with Devlin that he will need to have this discussion with everyone. Because officially, and I do air quotes, I don't know anything about this.
Yes, exactly. I am going to have to do my best to, because I mean, it seemed that Devlin wanted to talk again, and honestly, I'll be blunt. Like, I didn't actually in the conversation we had, I didn't actually mind his company.
He can be nice, because he even had sarcasm the first time we met, which I appreciate his quality. However, he's also a dick about many things that he doesn't need to be a dick about, and that's the issue.
And I'm not ignorant to any of that, and it irks me too. It's, as I say, it's just we're going to have to be patient with this. I know time is of the essence, David. I am well aware of that. But we're in the middle of a minefield. We have no choice but to step carefully or risk blowing up. I wanted to just have a very quick conversation about what happened back at Magical Essentials. You cannot let yourself do something like that again. He was being a dickhead. He was being utterly unreasonable. But David, the spell that he cast on you, I've seen Jun cast it before when we were chasing after Rabbit. That wasn't an offensive spell. He was basically trying to make you leave because he thought that you were going to use force. And you did.
I wouldn't have done it if he didn't cast spells.
Right, but David, you've got to think about your own strength. What if you didn't hit the book? What if you hit him?
I would have pulled him also to get towards me.
You would have hurt him in the process. What if he fell awkwardly when you pulled him towards him? What if he died? What if you killed a man? Because we would have probably been arrested, thrown into a cell. Devlin probably would have been able to just pop us back into the shop and we would have left. But that is how we would thank these people. That would be our legacy in this town. These people who have helped us, these people who we brought a wyvern to their doorstep, these people who we may have brought a broodmother to their doorstep. We would thank them by potentially killing somebody. Somebody whose shop we have bought a lot from. David, I understand your reasons all too well. And I think if I was as desperate, I can't say that I would be thinking, but I have to really think every single time I cast a spell. Because especially recently, I don't know if it's going to blow up. The fact that you can cast your magic so freely, I must be honest, I am so envious of you for not having to think about that. But you have to be more careful, not just for your sake, but for ours. I hope you don't think I'm being out of line here.
I wouldn't say out of line, because the relationship we have, I do believe we should be able to speak freely, even if we don't always see eye to eye. However, I will say,
okay,
even in death moments that I did want to hurt him, I didn't want to kill him. I have more damaging spells, but I don't want to use those.
It's not...
Because I know it would hurt him. My idea was not to hurt him.
I know what your intention was. You just wanted the book so you could search through it to find your wife. But what I'm not talking about intent, I'm talking about accidents. And you know, David, in battle, that has happened a few times with all of us. There's been occasions where we've hit each other with spells, hit each other with knives. Fortunately, never to the point where it was lethal, but accidents have and do happen. That is what I am cautioning you about. I don't think that you wanted to kill him. I'm just saying that if you misjudged your strength, if your spell hit the wrong thing, if you hit maybe a shelf and something heavy fell on him, life has a way of fucking you over in the moments where you're not thinking straight. That is all I want to point out to you.
Yeah, I understand your point, even though I don't agree with it.
Well, what's your counter argument?
I don't think you should be held accountable on accidents.
It isn't about it's not being about accountable, David. It's if. It's living.
Yeah, but the if
it's
living. If is always everything.
It is living.
Anything could have happened. He could have also run into a bookcase, and then the bookcase could have fallen on him.
Exactly, David. But
would have then been my fault?
It isn't about fault, David. It's about the fact that if things just went a certain way, you would have to live with the death of somebody on your conscience. Things like that aren't... You might not think that you will until it happens. And at some point, David, it's probably going to happen. Because we have to defend ourselves. I mean, we've been lucky so far in that we've only had to fight creatures. But what if, at some point, someone else is after the same item that we are, and they don't want to give it up?
I understand your point. I still don't agree with it. I think, from my perspective, you pulled too much to yourself. You even said we brought the wyvern to them, which I don't agree with. The wyvern was already in the area, was already hunting people. They took Moira, and not because of us. Yes, we killed its mates. Same thing with the brute mother. But that doesn't mean that anything that happens afterwards is our cause. It happens because of what we did.
With Moira, I only think because she came to see me that morning.
I don't agree with it, because she would have left town anyway.
And if I was with her, could I not have done something?
Might have not. They might have also taken you. That's what I'm saying. You cannot just think about the ifs, because you're only breaking yourself apart. That's what I don't agree with.
Well,
if we weren't in this world, who knows what would have happened?
It could have been worse. You are.
Could have been worse. Could have been better. We don't know.
Do you want to know why I think this way, David?
Why?
Because I used to be a lot more like you, I think at one point we probably would have seen completely eye to eye, because when I had to take care of my mother, nothing else mattered. I went to work, did my job, all of the bullshit, because I didn't have a choice. One day, I was having a particularly stressful afternoon, and I was with my mother, and she deteriorated so much by then. She was just had been aggressive, and heard her say these things to me many, many times before, but for some reason that day she was criticizing me making this costume for the Comic-Con, and I just said to her, at least I have interests. Completely innocent, nothing inflammatory. It was that night that I got the phone call from her, wishing that I'd died instead of my father. And when I got the autopsy, I saw you later. Among the other things, they told me that she died of a broken heart. So yes, David, I think about in what ifs, because, I don't know, maybe it was a combination of a lot of other things, but I have to live with the fact that I partially killed my own mother. You might not agree with it, and I understand it, but since that day, I have never kept my feelings from anyone because pushing him down led to me saying something careless in a moment of annoyance that I now regret for the rest of my life. My actions have consequences, as do yours, as do all of us, and you might not agree with me, David, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. And even if we can't be blamed for each and every single thing that we do, we should think as much as possible about what we are doing is to minimize anything that could potentially go wrong. And in that situation, David, with the bookkeeper, it was clear that we didn't have the scroll. I mean, he looked through the book for like a good 5 minutes. The wise thing in that situation, David, was to walk away. The simple fact of the matter is we had another option, but you chose to take a forceful measure. That could have led to those consequences. If you had walked away, then that branching path doesn't exist. We create problems by the decisions that we make. I mean, you're right. You are actually right insofar as in maybe that the Wyverns, the Broodmothers, yeah, not of our fault. Another band of adventurers could have come across them. Someone else in Drutch's Blaine could have been kidnapped. It could have led to the same thing. We were just different performers on the same stage. It's just that I can't help but consider everything that I do because I never want to repeat that particular mistake. I can't pretend that I don't care anymore. I respect if you don't agree with me, David, but my reasons are valid.
It is a valid reason, especially given the history.
I think this is something that we're just going to have to agree to disagree on. I feel is what basically we're driving at here.
Yes, but I also want to conclude this conversation with... Okay. I think that it does come with a balance. While it is true that you should, and I agree, that with the bookkeeper, I did not trust his words, and thus it led me to the choices I made. That I might have jumped the gun a bit quick, but I still stand on the point that with the Wyvern and the Broodmother, some things will happen even if we do or do not interfere. I do believe that some things are predestined to happen.
I'm with you so far, David.
That's what I want to conclude this.
Okay, well, I can accept that. I think ultimately my point through all of this has just been sometimes we have to take actions in our journey. It's just whether the actions we take are proportionate to the situation in front of us. That is all I am saying. And I think, David, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up to you.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that.
Because, I mean...
I have, also in the past, I'm man enough to admit that, used a disproportionate response to a situation.
Sorry,
try to work on it, to think more on and take more appropriate actions given the situations.
And David, that's all I can ask for. And for my part, I'm not perfect either. Far from it. I mean, running off to fight a wyvern by myself? Fucking stupid. I mean, I was very lucky that you guys were with me to snap me out of that because I would have gone myself killed, no question. And then even during the fight with the wyverns in town, when I saw the bastard who hurt the woman I love, I couldn't help myself. I wanted it dead. And I'm still trying to get used to that. Now, I've got things I need to work on too. As does John. As do we all. But I think the one thing that we can do for each other, apart from what we do on a regular basis, we need to call each other out, to put it bluntly. Because I think is what we need to avoid getting lost in ourselves. And I'm sure if I ever overstep, I can count on you, John, or any of the others to set me straight. I hope you don't think I'm being too harsh, David. Well, I have to be honest.
No, you're not.
Just a random tidbit, actually. The place that we're going to next, Devlin mentioned the shop needs to be refueled there. I might have said that before.
Refueled?
It needs to be refueled.
Oh, refueled.
The shop, apparently, it runs on a magic crystal, apparently. That's what needs to be refueled.
Alright. I haven't seen such a crystal.
I mean, neither have I. You know, there's been a few times where John has mentioned about Devlin going through the floor. I mean, maybe not going through the floor, but it does actually make me wonder if there's parts of the shop that we're not aware of. I mean, because where would this crystal be otherwise?
Good question.
Devlin often goes into the ceiling.
Sometimes also the floor.
No, but I mean specifically when we travel.
Yeah.
So maybe that might be a clue.
Maybe there's also an attic.
Maybe it's in the attic, if there is one.
Don't know about.
I mean, honestly, if we expand the shop, might be worth just asking Devlin if there's any places that we can expand from. I mean, maybe that might give us the answer to that question. Without directly needing to ask.
Might, and this is also based on luck, be able to create a door or window because of the cloak that I have.
I thought you only had I thought you had like 2 charges left on that.
One of the abilities that I gained, in addition to seeing my wife, or to seeing anyone for a moment that I know, is to also add charges to things that normally would not be able to recharge.
Oh wow, that.
So that's really useful.
That sounds.
I've been doing that.
Wow, that sounds incredibly useful. You know, that actually, if I remember, that cloak can produce money too. Because we got the silver coffer and like 100 gold pieces from it.
And a lot of healing potions.
Who knows, maybe we'll...
And also Bella Luna.
Oh, true. I mean, heck,
so maybe we get another pair of dogs.
I mean, heck, we might get that rowboat you're wanting. You regret...
Or the ladder. Another ladder.
You know, we do have a rowboat in the shop, you know. I don't know why we were so upset about not being able to get that one.
That was just a joke.
I know it was... I know, it just... That's been bothering me for a while. But,
It's not about the rowboats. It's about... We had to leave something worthless there.
Yeah. Listen, David, I hope you don't think too ill of me for not telling you this immediately. I just...
The only one I'm thinking ill of is Devlin, don't worry.
Still, I didn't want to keep this from you at all. I just needed to find a good time.
I appreciate it. The place that we had to recharge the magic. Maybe you know, but probably you don't, because Devlin rarely discloses information. Is that also the same place that he needs to do the ritual, right?
He implied as much. I mean, maybe we're going to a wasteland, or maybe a place that, I don't know, maybe there's like a location that can kind of absorb the damage, depending on what it is. I mean, we'll find out soon enough, I think.
It could be anything. It could also be another desolate world like Lantis.
I mean, we don't really...
So it doesn't really matter what happens to it.
I mean, unlike a lot of our questions, David, we don't actually have to wait long to find out the answer.
Yeah.
So, tomorrow morning.
Was the reason it was... Oh yeah, because I also need to prepare to leave for it.
I mean...
Theoretically also leave in the evening.
Theoretically. Yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be opposed to you suggesting it, but I wouldn't push it too hard if you can't convince the others.
No, I have... If someone wants to do something in the morning, because there's a good chance we'll never return, I do think that should take priority. But if no one else has anything else to do, I should say, or because we all already said our goodbyes,
this is actually...
There's no reason to wait.
This is actually in part, David, why I spent so long this morning going through the magical materials, the components, because, well, I mean, I think in retrospect it's obvious, but I thought I'd just state it explicitly. I was thinking of trying to get as much done in Drutcher's Blaine today, because I knew that once I told you this, we weren't going to want to wait around. So I just...
Well, there's still the party that we are planning for.
But you take my meaning, because I was initially thinking of doing this tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I basically tried to optimize our routine today so we could get as much done. So if it is that this works out, then we've only lost a day. And if it doesn't, we're well prepared for what comes next, or at least as prepared as we can be.
Yeah, I agree. Alright.
Is there anything else you want to discuss with me, David? Or have you said everything you want to say too?
How mad would you be if I start carving into the balls? I'm joking.
The thing is, David, I know you're not entirely.
No, it's true. At least on the doors we can carve our names, right? You can just suck it up.
Let's take things one step at a time. Sort of. Let's head back, David.